We've got a 2015 Suburban that will not start. Let's diagnose it. So I had to jump start this thing to get it into the building, and it looks like the battery has very recently been replaced. I also noticed a whining noise coming from the alternator, so I'm fairly certain this alternator is bad. Also, the battery readout on my jump box didn't change after I cranked the vehicle up. It stayed at about 11 or 12 volts. So being that my battery is completely dead and they just got it replaced somewhere else, they're probably going to warranty that out somewhere. I'm just going to focus on why the alternator is not working. So I'm going to use my jump box as a good battery for the meantime. And first thing you want to check is to make sure you still have a drive belt, which we do, because it would suck to go through all this other testing and it just didn't have a drive belt installed. But we do have a drive belt, so now let's focus on the electrical portion of the testing. So this first part, I want to make sure the fuse for the alternator is not blown and we have continuity and power present at the alternator. So I've got 2 channels hooked up on my oscilloscope. Right now we only really need one, and it's going to be this yellow one that's actually connected to the alternator output post. So with this turned on and 12 volts present, we should have 12 volts present at that post, and we do. It's showing 12.15. And you should also load test it. So I got my test light hooked up now to the same place. So that cable is definitely good. Our fuse isn't blown. So let's focus on alternator output. So I'm going to crank the vehicle up, and first we're going to keep our channels coupled to DC voltage, and we're going to see what voltage the alternator is actually putting out. After that, I'm going to try to see if there's any AC ripple present, and we'll just go from there. Now, the reason why I have 2 channels hooked up is I basically have one on each end of that cable. So we basically, for the most part, verified that our cables and connections are good between here and here. But with 2 channels hooked up to the oscilloscope, you can use a math channel of channel A minus channel B, and it will show you if you have any excessive resistance within the circuit. So just in case there's a problem that's only showing up dynamically instead of just this static test. So with the vehicle running now, you can see on the battery readout right here, got 11.2 volts. And it's about the same on the oscilloscope reading. So now I'm going to change my channels to couple to AC voltage, and we'll measure the actual AC ripple off of the alternator. So here goes our reading now. I'm going to go ahead and pause it, and then we can zoom in and take a closer look at it. So after zooming in on the waveform, this is what our AC ripple pattern looks like. So this is on each end. So this yellow trace is right at the alternator, and the blue trace is at the battery post. And let me show you what a good AC ripple pattern looks like. So we'll just take a measurement from this known good vehicle right here. So same exact settings and everything, other than I'm not using the second channel this time. And you can see already without even zooming in, it's a huge difference. So here goes our known good waveform down here in yellow. So this is what a good alternator ripple looks like. And this is actually zoomed in quite a bit more than what this pattern is. So this purple right here is the alternator from our vehicle that we think the alternator is not working on, which clearly it's not. So if I actually take that to the same time base as my yellow pattern down here, this is what it looks like. So you can see there is a huge difference between a known good and what we have here. Another thing I forgot to mention, on our known good pattern, we're measuring about 32 millivolts of AC ripple. And on our bad vehicle right here, it's about 200 millivolts. So huge difference in AC ripple. Now there's plenty of ways to test an alternator, and we actually use several different methods on this particular vehicle to prove that this alternator is bad. But if you want to see what a bad waveform looks like, this is a good example. So this vehicle needs an alternator and will most likely need a battery as well. I still got to test that, but that's going to be it for this one, and y'all follow me for more.